course, Snark Nation. Welcome back once again. It's your host, the G-Man. As we continue with our 2016 team-by-team preview from a fantasy perspective, today we're going to profile my beloved Philadelphia Eagles. I do think there's some value to be had there, although I don't think that you're going to be winning your season with anybody from the Eagles. I think there's some players to be had. Sam Bradford, start at the top of the quarterback position, is your definition of mediocre. He is a mid to late number 2 quarterback. I think the offensive system is going to be new to him. I don't think it necessarily fits his strengths. He has a big enough arm to go deep. He has never shown the willingness to do so in his career, and this is not going to be a deep offense. The struggles and the inconsistency at wide receiver are going to hurt him as well. So draft him, buyer beware. Draft him as a number 2. Be happy if he puts up better than that production. Running back, I actually like Ryan Matthews a lot. He played tough last year when he played, but he is hurt quite a bit. When he plays, I think he's a solid number 2 running back. Because the injury factor, I would probably rate him as a late number 2 running back. Darren Sproles in a PPR, I worry that he's on his last legs. They didn't use him a lot offensively last year. He was maintained the kick return game pretty well, but that doesn't help you in a fantasy league. Maybe he gets back in this offense. He catches 60 balls. He has some value in a PPR, but I wouldn't put too many eggs in that basket either. Even PPR, I'd say late 3, early 4, and in a standard league, he's undraftable, unrosterable for me. A guy like Wendell Smallwood or even Kenyon Barner, you may want to take as a handcuff to Ryan Matthews. If Smallwood shows that he can pick up the blitz and they have enough faith to play a rookie running back, I think he's got the talent to actually be rosterable and help you. But at this point, they're both just lottery ticket types. At the wide receiver position, Jordan Matthews, he's proven what he is. I think this year he finally gets over the 1,000-yard mark, but not by much. Let's say 1,050 to 1,100 yards with 10 touchdowns. He's going to be their main guy in the red zone to go along with Zach Ertz, the tight end position. Zach Ertz, people have been calling for the breakout year after year after year. I'm calling for it again. This is the year. 80 catches, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. If he does that, he's right in that last 6 of the top 10 tight ends. If he doesn't, then I won't ever tell you to draft him again. But I do think this is year he busts out. I think there's some other talent at the wide receiver position for the Eagles. I think Nelson Agholor certainly deserves the benefit of the doubt after a rookie year. He could come back and catch 60 balls for 800 yards, maybe 6, 7 touchdowns with a couple big weeks. If anything happens to Matthews, he would step in as the de facto number 1, and he's got that talent. Ruben Randall, I think, is a guy that is overlooked. Was on his previous team, probably will be on the Eagles. I don't know that he'll get the numbers, maybe 60 balls, 50 balls, but I think he's a big-time player. So he might get 50 balls for 750 yards and 7 or 8 touchdowns. So he's a viable backup receiver, like let's say a number 4, even a number 5. Chris Givens, he's a home run hitter. I probably wouldn't draft him because I think all he's going to be is a take the top off the defense type of player. He'll catch the occasional long touchdown, so if you're desperate on a bye week, you want to take a shot at a guy who's got home run potential, Chris Givens might be your guy, but I wouldn't count on him for too much more than that. Defensively, I think the Eagles are going to be a top 10 defense. I very rarely say that. I am one of those Eagles fans who is usually harshly critical of the Eagles. I think they're going to be a top 10 statistical defense, and I think they're going to be a top 10 fantasy defense. The improvements in their defensive backfield, the ability to get after the pass rusher, signing Fletcher Cox, and most importantly, moving to the 4-3 defense that so much better fits their personnel. I think between Cox and Curry, that's 20 sacks waiting to happen. You get that much pressure, you're going to turn the ball over on the offense. So I think there's some future to be had here. Maybe next year when Carson Wentz comes in, we're going to be talking about him as a potential starting quarterback. But in the meantime, I think there is some value to be had with some of the Eagles. And with your 2016 fantasy preview of the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.